Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. This is a vice presidential candidate saying that there are Haitian people stealing and eating pets in Ohio, and he just gets away with that? What up? It's your boy, Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Wednesday morning. We're fresh off a debate night, and I have a huge show set up for you guys today, so strap in because I'm about to get this show started. All right, of course, our first lead story is Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you all the recaps, let you know who I think won, and all that good stuff. Then we're going to jump into a second lead story. We're going to talk about body cam footage release of the fatal shooting of Justin Robinson. Then we're going to talk about Diddy getting slammed with a $100 million default judgment. And then we're going to close out lead stories with Vance making racial comments about Haitian migrants. Y'all know I'm from Quebec, and there's a lot of Haitians here. I got a lot of Haitians friends. Sac passe. Trust me, I'm going to deal with Vance for y'all, all right? After lead stories, we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk about Tems. We're going to talk about Sony PlayStation releasing Sony PlayStation 5 Pro. Then we're going to talk about Tory Lanez. We're going to talk about the ex-boyfriend of the Olympic runner that passed away last week. The ex-boyfriend now has passed away from self-inflicted wounds. And then we're going to close out quick news with Beyoncé. And then we're going to close out, as we always do, with a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Who do y'all think won the debate last night? All right, the question heard around the globe, or the question asked around the globe is, who do you think won the debate last night? All right, before I give you my final answer, let me tell you, actually, you know what? I'll just give it to you now. I think the technical question is, it's a presidential debate, and Kamala Harris won off of a technicality. But like I said many times leading up to this, I don't think Kamala Harris dog walked him, like as Charlemagne said, or wiped the floor with him. I feel she won, but she didn't do it in such a unanimous way that it's like, oh my gosh, I can no longer vote for Trump. She did a great job. She was extremely, extremely presidential, which to me, that is the reason why I think she won. She talked about the people. She talked like she was for the people. She was commanding. She was articulate. She was authoritative. She didn't seem like she was afraid of him. She was ready to go toe to toe. She walked up and shook his hand. Like, she seemed more like a president than Donald Trump. But like I always say, Donald Trump's followers or Donald Trump supporters don't want him to be presidential. So when he says things that are insulting, or when he says things that are unpresidential, you're not going to have him lose any of his supporters. And the people that are undecided already know. So in a quick summary, that I still think Kamala Harris won. I don't think it changes anything in the election, like how when Joe Biden and Trump debated, Joe Biden had to leave the debate after. He had to leave the race after that. Donald Trump doesn't have to leave. It's not over for him. And it's still a race. And that's what everybody thought this debate would be. If he'll never debate her, they said, oh my gosh, he'll never debate her. He'll be too afraid. He went, he debated her. I'm going to tell you his two biggest mistakes that I think he did. And I'm going to tell you the things that where I thought he lost. But the moral of the story is, because of this debate, he's not going to lose the election. He's not going to lose any of his supporters, and he's not going to gain or lose any independents or undecided. So it was pretty much just a stalemate, and we got to watch a pretty decent debate. All right. Anyways, so all right. So let me tell you his first biggest mistake. Not only just not presidential, but just absolutely ridiculous for him to say and mention this on a debate stage. And we're going to talk about it in our fourth lead story, the Haitian migrants eating people's pets in Springfield, Ohio, which is really ridiculous. But I'll play you a little clip. Like I said, I'll explain it later on, but I'll play you a little clip. Just listen to the clip, and you should know that this should never be said during a presidential debate. Take a listen.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. And this is what's happening in our country.
And you know what is so ridiculous of him is that is the one point that I think everybody in most of America will at least give him, is that they feel like Donald Trump and the Republicans will do better on immigration. And when there's a conversation about immigration, you really open your mouth to say, well, migrants are coming and eating people's dogs. Like, are you joking me, dude? Like, why would you even say that on your most strongest point? This is the place where you will win the debate and win over so many people. Democrats are on your side and you go and you say something like this. Like, that's just horrible of him to do. All right, here's another thing. Talking about Obamacare, and they asked him, and he made a huge mistake, something that you never ever do in a debate. Say, I don't have a concise plan. I don't have a full plan right now. And the reason why, he said, well, I'm not the president right now. Bro, you're running for the president. You're the candidate. You're a nominee. How could you say you don't have a plan right now? You should have a better plan than the president that's sitting right now. You know what I'm saying? The sitting president, like, that's your job. The whole point why you're running is because you're supposed to have better plans than the sitting presidents. Like, that is a huge debate mistake, whether it be presidential or whatever. You never say you don't know or you don't have a solution. Never say that anything. And anybody ever asks you that, don't ever say that you don't have a plan or you don't know how to fix something in anything in your life. You know what I mean? Like, horrible. That is debate 101, argument 101. Horrible. Take a listen.
You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare unless we can do something much better. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. Do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
I have concepts of a plan? Horrible thing to say. Horrible. All right, I have some other notes here. What a lot of people are saying, which is really obvious, is that Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party strategy was to bait Donald Trump, which we all knew, right? It's like, how could we get him riled up? That's why they wanted to have the mics on. By the way, the mics on and off had nothing to do. Like, he spoke, they turned on the mic. If she wanted to speak, they turned on the mic. So there's no need to have these mics muted or not muted, okay? So we all knew that we were going to try to rile up Donald Trump, get him interrupting, getting to be insulting, getting him to be Donald Trump, which, again, I told you guys, makes no difference because his base loves that he does that. Anyways, he fell for it every single time. She said, and the biggest thing that he fell for is when she said crowd sizes. She said, I'm going to do something that I wouldn't normally do. Go to one of Donald Trump's rally. You'll hear him talking about all kinds of, conspiracy theories and bad things. And then you're going to see people start leaving because they don't want to hear him talk. And the look on his face, like, oh, you're insulting my crowd sizes. And it literally was just downhill from there. He started going off. But like I said, ultimately, it's not the worst thing in the world because his base really doesn't care. Another thing that I think Kamala Harris did that was very good, other than just baiting him every single time, was they asked Donald Trump about Kamala Harris being black. And you all know the famous statement he made where it's like, I didn't know that she was black. I woke up one morning and she was black. So now she wants to be black. And then, they asked her, what did you think of him making that statement? And I thought she handled it beautifully. Same thing that she did on CNN when Dana Bash asked her. She just ignored it. She didn't talk about herself being black, nor did she ever talk about herself about being a woman. And she totally flipped it. And she said, Donald Trump has been making racial comments from the past 40 years when he had buildings and he didn't want to rent to black tenants. The Central Park 5, when he took out a full-page ad and he wanted to hang and give the death penalty to these 5 Central Park boys that never committed this crime. They were exonerated later on. And, he took out a full-page ad wanting to give them the death penalty. So she just went on to Donald Trump being racist and the racist comments he's made. I thought it was beautiful. I have been following this since, well, you guys know, since the beginning, even when Biden was there. Since Kamala Harris has begun her presidential run, whatever, let's say June or early August, she has once mentioned anything about her being Indian or black or a woman at all. She knows that we know it, but she doesn't want to make that her case. And I think it's the most smartest thing that she could do in her campaign. Love that she does that. One time, and I like the fact that she did interrupt him a couple of times, just like he interrupted her and the people asking the question a million times. She interrupted. Even one time which something you're not supposed to do in the debate, they're on a whole other subject, and she goes, by the way, you guys, I tried to interrupt you guys wouldn't let me get in my statement, so I'm just going to go back. Donald Trump said that myself and Tim Walz wants to take away your guns. By the way, I'm a gun owner, and so is Tim Walz. Stop with the lies. We don't want to take away your guns. I was like, go Kamala, yo. Like, first of all, I didn't know that she was a gun owner, and I like that, she again made a debate mistake where, hey, you're totally on a whole other subject. Use your time for that subject. And she was like, by the way, stop your BS. I'm a gun owner. Like, that was really, really good that she did. And what else she said? I already talked about this, his plan for healthcare, because he's not president right now. I already talked to you guys about that. And then my last point was that she was extremely, extremely presidential. I understand for a lot of you out there that might not be a concern. And Donald Trump uses that to be like, I'm not like these people. They're liars and they're this and they're whatever. But I'm the one who's going to be representing you in there. I'm non-presidential. But I do think that a sort of respect for the branch of government, the House, the honor that any world leader has, it represents your country. So to me, being presidential doesn't have to mean like the politics of it, but you still conduct your way, you still conduct yourself in a way that you're representing of the country, of the people, and I like that. And that's just my point of view. And I think that she did a masterful job of that. And one thing that a president or a leader should always do is to make you feel like they're there representing you. This is a act of service. To be a president is an act of service for the people. One thing that she did, that she said, I think this was in her closing arguments. By the way, Donald Trump's closing arguments were very great too. But her closing arguments, she said, when I was a prosecutor, I never asked my clients if they were Republican or Democrat. I just asked them if they were okay. So again, I don't care the party you are. I'm here for you. Really, really, really great. And just to be fair, Donald Trump's closing arguments, where I thought he should have done this all the way through the debate, he said, hey, Kamala Harris said all of these things here today and that she's going to do. She's been in office as a vice president for 3.5 years. Why hasn't she done all of these things? Which is really brilliant, because it's like, well, yeah, you just said you're going to do all of this stuff for us. Why have you haven't done it? Now, it's brilliant to say, but it's actually not 100% true, because we all know the vice president is there working for Biden, right? So it's not like she's there as president now. That would work against Biden. That really shouldn't work against Kamala Harris, but most people are not going to think that way. So it is brilliant to say that. And lastly, Kamala Harris did say one thing after he kept on talking about Biden. She goes, by the way, just want to let you know and remind you, you're not running against Biden. You're running against me. So it's like all this other things that you're talking about, Biden, I'm here now. So talk about me, So anyways, great debate. Like I said in the beginning, it's not going to change anything. Donald Trump is not going to lose support. He's not this debate, I don't think, changed any undecided voters or any independents. But Kamala Harris still did win. Last thing, I put up a poll on, just to prove that I'm right. I put up a poll before the debate and I said, who's going to win tonight? I put it on Instagram, Exclucity Media. I said, who's going to win tonight? And it was split like 49-51, okay? Basically a tie. Halfway through the debate, I took it down. At the end of the debate, I put it up. I said, who won tonight? Same thing, 49-51. It's still split. It's still a tight race. This debate did nothing. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, like I just told you, who still think Donald Trump won, although he didn't. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know a couple of things. Let me know if you think Donald Trump or Kamala Harris won. Do you think that this is going to change anyone's mind? And lastly, just those two things. Who won, and this is going to change your mind. Let me know. Send me an email, trent@cfqr600.com. Comment below or send me a DM at Trent Out Loud. Body cam footage released of Justin Robinson, who was fatally shot by police in D.C. On September the 1st, Justin Robinson, a violence interpreter for the city of D.C., was shot and killed by police officers. On September the 1st, officers responded to a call regarding a car crash at McDonald's in D.C. According to Fox 5 DC, upon arrival, Justin Robinson was found unconscious with a gun in his lap while sitting in the drive-thru area. While Robinson woke up, his hand was on his gun, and officers asked him to put the weapon down, which led officers to open fire. After firing 11 rounds, Robinson was pronounced deceased at the scene. Robinson's death has caused an uproar in the DC community, leading for locals to sign off on a petition entitled Justice for Justin. Robinson's sister said, "I watched the video over and over and over again," she told Fox 5. She said, "There's a reason why we chose not to release the video, because we wanted you guys to see the whole video. We wanted you to hear my story first." 2 of the officers involved in the shooting have been placed on administrative leave. Now, I do have a video for you guys. I'm not too sure if what we have now is a whole video, if they released it without her blessing. I hope they did wait, and this is the video that she does want us to see. However, take a listen. Here's the video.
Police say the man in the car, Justin Robinson, was unconscious with a gun in his lap. Chief Pamela Smith says as officers, including a supervisor who was on the scene, were strategizing how to respond, they noticed movement in the car.
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Sir, don't touch the gun!
And seconds later, 11 rounds were fired.
All right, so here we have another senseless murder at the hands of police officers. And for some of you out there, I know you're going to say, why did he have his hand on his gun? Why did he have a gun? Police have to defend themselves. And I have a take, and I would just like for you to hear me out for those people who think that Justin is to blame, okay? Now, for those of you who who are not on YouTube or Spotify, are not seeing the video, I'm going to explain it to you just to give you context before I give you my take, okay? So you see Justin's car, his car is there. There's around 3 or 4 police cruisers and around 5 to 10 cops around, okay? They're there talking, and you even heard in the video, they're there looking to see what should we do? How should we wake him up, okay? And then as one cop says, oh, he's waking up, they come around, they see him, they're like, yo, don't put your hands on your gun, put your gun down, and then they open fire. Here's my first question. You're telling me you have 5 to 10 police officers, grown men, outside of a car and someone's unconscious, and you're trying to tell me you don't know what to do, you don't know how to wake somebody up? You're telling me that you can't, out of the 10 people out there, nobody thought, man, let's shoot the tire out, let's blow the tire, let's let off some warning shots in the air. I think some gunshots in the air might wake somebody up. No? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's use our police cruiser and hit the back of the car. Let's throw a rock at the window. Something, instead of just walking up to the car and wondering what we should do to wake somebody up. So that's first take. Second take is, if you are there standing around trying to figure out, and the guy is waking up and now he's grabbing the gun, I understand you are a police officer, very, very dangerous job, and you have a right to protect yourself. Why does it have to be 11 rounds where the man is dead on the scene? Why can't you shoot at his hand, shoot at his leg? Now, again, I understand it's easier for me to sit down here in front of this camera and say, oh, you should have done this and should have done that. When you're in that situation, I totally understand your life is threatened. You want to protect yourself. I get it. I still don't think 11 shots are justified. However, like I said in the beginning, more importantly, there's a million other things they could have done. Stayed away from the car, stay out of harm's way if they feel like he could be threatening, and wake the man up another way. Shoot out the windows, do a million other things instead of walking up, startling the guy, and then unloading 11 bullets into his body. I just feel like it's totally wrong. I feel like they should be fired. I feel like there should, well, of course, there's going to be an investigation, whatever. But to me, this is another senseless murder at the hands of police officers. It's just ridiculous. All right, in our third lead story, Diddy slammed with a $100 million lawsuit in default judgment for sexual assault case. Sean Diddy Combs is left with a $100 million lawsuit in a default judgment after missing a court hearing. According to TMZ, Derek Lee Carvoldon Smith filed a lawsuit against Combs following an incident in 1997. Okay. In the lawsuit, Smith reveals that he was drugged and assaulted after attending a party with Combs in Detroit. Smith recalls being at the party, drinking and smoking while surrounded by women. In the lawsuit, he details that Combs touched him from behind while he was being intimate with another woman. The lawsuit documents also revealed that shortly after Combs touched him, he then offered him a drink that was spiked, leading him to pass out. Hours later, Smith alleged that when he finally woke up, he saw Combs in a sexual act with another woman. And then he said that Diddy said, "I did this to you." Anyways, following this indictment, Smith filed a lawsuit for $100 million. However, Combs did not file to answer the complaint. After failing to appear in court, the default judgment during the hearing was set on Monday, and the judge granted Smith a $100 million request. The judge set the payment up via installment of $10 million a month, which should begin in October. All right, so for all of you people out there who are thinking, oh my gosh, this guy won $100 million. It's not the case. I understand the judge set this up, etc., but it's a default. It's just because Combs didn't pay attention to it, and the judge is just getting Diddy's attention, okay? So everyone's online being like, yo, Diddy's broke, doesn't have $100 million. He's not going to have to pay this. The judge is just trying to get his attention. His attorneys actually put out a statement, which I'll read to you. It says, Diddy's attorneys speak out following a $100 million default judgment to a Michigan inmate. Mr. Combs looks forward to having his judgment swiftly dismissed. And the article reads, Diddy's attorneys is speaking out after the mogul was hit with a $100 million default judgment after being hit with a lawsuit in Michigan from an inmate named Derek Lee Smith. After earlier reports, Diddy missed a court hearing and was ordered to pay Mr. Smith. Diddy's attorney, Mark Goffield, told People magazine in a statement, this man is a convicted felon and sexual predator who's been sentenced on 14 counts of sexual assault and kidnapping over the last 26 years. He continued, his resume now includes committing fraud on the court from prison, and Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served any lawsuit. Mr. Combs looks forward to having his judgment swiftly dismissed. So, like I said, all the blogs and people are running with this, and the headline just looks scary. Just because Diddy didn't show up, he's claiming he didn't hear about this, which I find a little bit weird because if there's a court, normally like you're subpoenaed, so somebody must have known about this, but I'm sure that if there is no merit to this, it will get dismissed and Diddy won't have to pay anything but his lawyers. All right, in our fourth and final lead story, JD Vance pushes a false narrative of Haitian migrants eating pets in Ohio. Police deny all accusations. All right, Vice President nominee Senator J.D. Harris amplifies a false claim that Haitian migrants are abducting and eating pets in Ohio, although the city police department denies any incidents. Vance took to X and published a video of him at a July Senate Bank Housing and Urban Affairs Committee hearing, reading a letter from Seinfeld City Manager Brian Heck. The letter details the city's challenges in keeping up with housing and growing Haitian migrant population. Brian Heck said false allegations against migrants were distracted from the real issue faced in Springfield, Ohio. He told The Hill in a statement, in response to recent rumors alleging criminal activity by migrants' populations in our city, we wish to clarify that there have been no credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the migrant community. The Ohio Attorney General Office announced 30 minutes after Vance made this post that it would review legal options to stop the U.S. government from sending an unlimited amount of migrants to Ohio's community. In addition, the Springfield Police Division said that they haven't received reports about anybody stealing or eating pets. This guy's ridiculous. All right, here is the post. I'll read it to you guys. It said, months ago, this is from JD Vance, by the way. It says, months ago, I raised the issue of Haitian illegal migrants draining social services and generally causing chaos all over Springfield, Ohio. Reports now show that people have had their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in this country. Where is our border czar? JD Vance, there should be some sort of penalty for something like this. Like, there is racial comments and then there is overt racism. Like, I understand Twitter is an open platform, but you're running for political office. There should be some sort of law or stipulation that political figures are not allowed to put out narratives like this. If you want to say that there's an immigration crisis or this or whatever, that's no problem. But to say that there's Haitian immigrants for somebody who's running for office. This is a vice presidential candidate saying that there are Haitian people stealing and eating pets in Ohio, and he just gets away with that? Like, that is crazy. Like, let Elon Musk run Twitter however he wants. That's his platform. I said it a million of times. Like, he owns that. He's taking it off, so he lets that. There should be some sort of law that penalizes people in powerful positions, because when somebody like that says something like that, people believe them. This is JD Vance. This is the vice presidential nominee, candidate. Anyways, I get mad when I see things like this, man. And these are things where I try not to get like over political and choose a side. And we just had the debates and all of that. But these kind of things are the things that make it hard for me to stay neutral and just report on things like when there's racism and there's overt, like, disgusting racism, and JD Vance is disgusting for putting something like this on his Twitter account. All right, this takes us to quick news. Ring my bell. Tems shuts down rumors that she's pregnant by Future. All right, despite the rumor mill that you may have heard, Future and Tems are not expecting a child together. In a newly released interview with The Breakfast Club, the Nigerian singer-songwriter and recording producer Tems took a moment to speak on rumors surrounding her love life. You may have heard whispers of the 29-year-old being pregnant by Future, who is 40 years old. When The Breakfast Club asked her about it, she said, "Oh yeah, I feel like they just take the most controversial things you could think of, because why would I be pregnant by Future? Why not like WizKid or Drake or somebody else like that?" Tems went on to note that the pregnancy rumors involving other people would still be weird, but she feels like people ran with Future's story because it was the craziest. I'm in the middle of watching that interview, by the way, but I did catch this clip. And it's just really funny. Like the look on, when somebody answers a question like that and you're like, oh, she could be lying or she could be making stuff up. Like, she's telling the truth. Trust me. And DJ Envy was like, yo, when this came out, you haven't even met Future. You guys recorded, on internet, like they were sending files. I hadn't even met each other, but shout out to Tems. She's super cool. This is my first interview that I've actually watched of her. I obviously know all her music, but she's just very cool, calm, collected, very serious, very zen. I like people that are just centered, and she's very comfortable in her own skin. So anyways, shout out to Tems. All right, in our second quick story, Sony announces PlayStation 5 Pro release date. The device will launch November the 7th and retail at $699 compared to its predecessor, the PC5, which launched in November 2020, which was priced at $499. Pre-orders begins September 26th. I am not a gamer. I know my nephew is, so I know he's probably going to be freaking out when he hears about this. Those prices I just gave are US prices, if I'm not mistaken. But it looks like, you got to pay an extra $200 for the new Pro. This is PlayStation and Sony just doing what iPhone does, taking that name Pro, making it a little something special. And of course, it's September, so they're setting up for the Christmas holiday. People are a little over the PS5 crave. I remember when that hit, it was like bananas. And this is just getting ready for Christmas. So if you have a gamer, cousin, friend, boyfriend, husband out there, get him or her the new PS5 Pro for Christmas. All right, in our third quick story, Tory Lanez speaks out after studio equipment is confiscated in his cell block raid and says higher ups knew that he was a threat. All right, Tory Lanez seemingly feels like he's being targeted while behind bars. In a lengthy statement shared on his Instagram account yesterday, the Canadian rapper addressed his studio equipment being confiscated by prison guards, which has stopped his plans for releasing more music from prison. He said, "The rumors are true. The prison tapes," which was the title of the work that he was doing, "prison tapes will be discontinued until further notice. However, I think it's important that my fans know the truth, that these crooked a-holes that what they're really doing. My cell was not raided or trashed because I learned how to record myself in prison or because I created the prison tapes. It was shut down because the higher ups figured out what I was really doing with the prison tapes and how many inmates were being helped in life-changing ways because of them." Tory Lanez noted that he witnessed inmates of color being mistreated since his 10-year prison sentence started last year. However, he believes he was placed behind bars to see for himself firsthand the pain and oppression people have to go through in jail. He continued to say that, the inmates are not treated well and whatever, and they're trying to stop him. Look, shout out to Tory. What I can't figure out, and which nobody seems to know, I was even listening to The Breakfast Club yesterday, how was he able to have recording equipment in his jail cell? And because you're not allowed to have that stuff. And I find it very confusing because the prison guards and the prison will obviously hear that he released new music if he was in prison. So if he had this equipment and he was hiding it, he's crazy to have put out music without letting them know, because obviously that's gonna be why they raid his jail cell. But it's like, how do you have that equipment in there and they not know about it? And if they did know about it and he was able to record in there, then why are they taking it out now? Like, the story just seems very weird to me. You're not allowed to be recording music and putting it out in jail. So anyways, anybody knows anything about this? Like I said, I Googled it, I tried to figure it out. I can't understand it. But if anybody knows any more details, let me know. Trent at CFQR600.com. Comment below or send me a DM at Trent Out Loud. All right, in our fourth quick story, ex-boyfriend accused of killing Olympic runner in gasoline attack dies from his own self-inflicted burns. My gosh. Dixon Nabi, the former partner of Olympic marathon runner Rebecca, he reportedly died from severe burns he sustained while allegedly setting the Ugandan athlete on fire. Dixon passed away on Monday evening, September 9th, according to multiple outlets, including BBC News and NBC News on Tuesday, September 10th. He had been admitted to the hospital in Kenya, where he was being treated for burns that covered 30% of his body. Authorities were planning on charging him in connection with the death of the Olympic runner. The 33-year-old distance runner who completed the 2024 Paris Olympics suffered burns to nearly 80% of her body during the attack, which happened on September the 1st in Kenya. Despite medical efforts, Dixon tragically passed away from full organ failure on Tuesday, September the 5th at approximately 5 a.m. local time. A lot of people don't feel sorry for him. When I did cover this story, I did tell you guys that although he set her on fire, he accidentally set himself on fire. Everybody thought he was going to be okay because he only got 30-degree burns, but things don't work out that way, The other thing I'm going to say is that God works in mysterious ways. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to talk about negativity about anything else, but I just want to say God works in mysterious ways. And even if you don't believe in God, karma will come back and get you. All right, in our fifth and final quick story, Beyoncé opens up about being a famous mom in a rare interview. And she said, "My kids come with me everywhere I go." All right, this is big because, Beyoncé don't be doing no interviews with nobody. And so I just thought this was really cool to give you guys a little bit of insight on how she feels as a mom. everybody looks at Beyonce, the big superstar. Oh my gosh, she's these kids' mom and Jay-Z's wife, So anyway, some really cool things in here. Beyonce might be an icon and a legend, but her priority is her, Jay-Z, and their 3 children. The couple share a daughter, Blue Ivy, who is 12 years old, and twins, Rumi and Sir, who are 7. In a rare interview with GQ magazine, the 32-time Grammy award-winning details a typical day balancing her career and being a mom. She said, most days I try to wake up around 6 a.m., squeeze in an hour or 2 of work before the little ones wake up. Parenting while working, I move forward, embracing the beauty and the chaos of it all. She said, our home is alive with cousins and friends, spontaneous talent shows, and clatter of dominoes. I've been trying to focus on my health, taking my supplements, and eating very clean. I've given up on meat except for turkey this summer. I'm trying to muster the strength to work out, but I just couldn't do it today, maybe tomorrow. Considering how much of the world has changed since the early days of my career, Beyonce said the early days of her career, Beyonce said she's focused on making sure her children aren't violated with anything like AI. She said, one thing I've tried to work extremely hard on is making sure my kids have as much normalcy and privacy as possible, ensuring my personal life isn't turned into a brand. It's very easy for celebrities to turn their lives into performance art. I've made an extreme effort to stay true to my boundaries and protect myself and my family. Any amount of money isn't worth my peace. Still, she doesn't keep her children completely closed off. Blue Ivy notably hit the stage while during her performance at Renaissance Tour last year. Speaking about the decision to put Blue Ivy in the spotlight, the Cowboy Carter singer said, I build my work schedule around my family. I try to tour when my kids are out of school. I've always dreamt of a life where I could see the world with my children. If y'all remember, Blue Ivy was in concert with Beyonce, came out doing her dance and all that stuff. So anyways, like I said, just wanted to share that with you because we don't get much from Beyonce these days. And it's just cool to just hear her talk like it's just a normal person, So anyway, shout out to Beyonce. All right, this brings us to question of the day. All right, can a relationship come back after cheating? All right, the women are going to sound off in here. Worth Less Fuss said, I've never retrusted anybody, so no. Julie Ambrose said, in my opinion, the trust is broken, so get out of my face. Unique Solo said, the trust is gone at that point. You can forgive, but never forget. Oftentimes, people bring that cheating incident up in arguments years later. Is that girl said, nope, it will never be the same. Another person said, hold on, it cut off here. It says, I agree. If you say you forgive them, you cannot keep regurgitating what happened. It's impossible to forget the pain, but if you can, then it's okay. Another person here said, okay, she wrote a little paragraph. She said, when a person cheats on their mate, if the other person chooses to forgive you and stay, it's not about proving yourself to them. They've lost their trust because of your actions, and to rebuild trust again, it will take time. So yes, you will have to do and say things to rebuild the trust you had at first. Yeah, I thought that was going to be a little bit more insightful, but it's pretty boring. Sorry. Spoken by D said, in my opinion, cheating should be the end of a relationship. Cheating isn't a process and doesn't just happen. At no point did you value the relationship enough to stop yourself, and you're willing to lose it just for a few moments of pleasure. A couple of girls just straight said, nope. Where's some guys in here? Living Life 45 said, cheating is never a one-time thing. Leave if your value of sanity and health are more important. Another person said, cheating isn't a smart reason to break up with somebody. It should be. Cheating isn't a smart reason to break up with somebody, so it should be. I really don't understand that. Okay. All right. Another person said, when they cheat, now I have a heavy burden to bear, so that's just more work to do. Nah, man, we finished. Anyways, listen, the question here is, let me read it again, is can a relationship come back from cheating? I think a lot of people missed that question. It's not it's can it come back? And we can come back from anything. We're human beings. It just depends on the relationship, the circumstance of relationship, kids, how far you're in the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many factors that come into play. For sure, the trust is broken. You know what I mean? But to me, there's just so many layers. Like, did the person come and tell you that they cheated? Did you find out? Did you accuse them for, months and months and months, and they told you no, and then you found out? Was it a one-time thing, or were they cheating for, years? Were they in love with somebody else and had another relationship? Like, there's just so many factors. My answer is yes. It's not easy and not likely, but depending on all the factors, I think it is possible to happen. That's just my take. All right, this brings us to sports news. Attorneys representing police officers involved with Tyreek Hill's arrest call for the police officer's reinstatement after the officer was placed on administrative leave. The Miami-Dade police officer who was involved with the forceful detainment of Tyreek Hill is seeking reinstatement off of administrative leave. In a statement, they called for their client's immediate reinstatement. They also referred to the decision to place their client on administrative leave premature, although they got full support by Miami PD Director Stephen Daniels. Hill's agent called for the officers in the incident to be fired immediately. It's unclear whether their statement was crafted before or after the body cam footage was made public. We urge all parties to refrain from making public statements that may misrepresent our client's actions and mislead to the public about Hill's detainment. Yo, fire those cops, yo. Anyways, I'm running out of time. Before we go, first of all, thank you very much for sitting down with me. I hope you enjoyed your Wednesday episode. Before I leave, let me remind you guys of all the ways to keep up with the show. If you're used to watching the show on podcast or listening on podcast or watching on YouTube platforms, please try to check me out on CFQR600.com Monday to Friday from 11 to 12. We play the Trent Out Loud podcast, but we mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip hop and R&B. It's a great hour. It's a great way to get your entertainment and viral news while listening to your favorite hits. So check me out. Vice versa, if you can't always check us out between 11 to 12, we get it. You're busy. You got things to do. We upload every podcast on YouTube or podcast platform, so you never have to miss a show. Just go to your desired site. Type in Trent Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. Also, you can follow me on all my social platforms. It's always at Trent Out Loud or the production company at Exclucity Media. I'll see y'all tomorrow, Thursday. The weekend is close, yo. Peace! Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace!